go to that derm clinic. They will call you ugly to your face. I think that the demonization of wrinkles is like where it's like the final frontier in like body positivity.
It's very much part of Asian culture, and I think that is why.
And they said that when you apply for jobs, you attach your picture. And it directly impacts whether you get callbacks. And so, but then it's like, I look at my grandmother who never went in the sun and has very little wrinkles. And it's
like some of the topics you bring up on social media. So one of the things also is I think you're also part of this mission to recognize that the term anti-aging is like kind of problematic. And I'm still struggling to figure out like how to best reframe it. What is your approach? Like what, how should we reframe this conversation and switch or change terminology or change our perspective?
Yeah, and I think it's a really hard thing to reckon with, because if you go to Seoul, like go to that derm clinic, they will call you ugly to your face and tell you that you look sick because you have wrinkles, right? Like it's very no bedside manner. There was none of that. Like this is going to make you empowered and make you like feel less tired, right? Like which is, we couch things in like dog whistles in the United States rather than just like coming out and saying the thing. And so for me, I think it's more around the lines of like anti-aging. It's like almost like you're against aging, but we love experience, right? We should love experience. Like we talk about self-growth, and like you can't have self-growth without actually having lived. And so I think that the demonization of wrinkles is like where it's like the final frontier in like body positivity. But then there's a huge conversation happening in body positivity right now where it's like with like, the rise of Ozempic, it's like, it's like it's complicated. I think that one thing that I will say, and I've been thinking about this a lot, is that, I am somebody who is like tall, who is thin, and who is white. And so for me to speak on beauty standards, I fit a lot of the conventional norms. And so when you age, you start to fall out of those norms. And so that's when you rail against the system, but you've been benefiting from beauty standards for so long. And so I think that that's something that I'm grappling with. And I'm like, what's the best way? It's why I don't judge people for getting cosmetic treatments. I'm like, yeah, you want to move through the world more easily. What I won't call it is empowering. That's the thing. I'm like, it's a tool, it's a currency. That's fine. We can call it what it is. But I find it very frustrating when people who fall under conventional norms then lambast people for getting plastic surgery. There's a study out of Brazil that I'd actually love for both of you to look at. It's more of like a report, but basically it's looking at how people got themselves out of poverty through plastic surgery.
Wow.
And it's because we societally, right? This is very Puritanism in the United States, but it's also in Seoul. So I would argue this is just like a human problem. We equate how you look to how your goodness, especially with women.
It's very much part of Asian culture. And I think that is why South Korea is like the capital, like international capital for like medical tourism, cosmetic surgery. It's just, well, there was even that article a while back, Mamina, like in residency, where residents that actually look good, like physically beautiful, matched into more competitive specialties.
In Seoul, I was talking to somebody who worked at a very large beauty conglomerate, and they said that when you apply for jobs, you attach your picture.
Yeah.
And it directly impacts whether you get callbacks. And so I'm just, it's just, for me, more the anti-aging. I want to see more representations of women, just generally speaking, from body perspective, from, like skin tone, from aging, because I think the thing that, I look at older women and I'm like, oh my God, like she's gorgeous, like, and it's just like, it's interesting because we're starting to see more representations of it. But I think that, there's a beauty problem with pretty privilege and the fact that we demonize people who don't fit a certain mold. And so I think that that's the thing that needs to be addressed. And then also the recognition that, attacking individuals is never how you get any change. You have to look at the systems that got us here. And the beauty industry is just simply capitalizing off of a systemic problem within society. And so that's kind of more what I see. Like in France, for example, people are always like, oh, they're so age positive. And I'm like, yeah, but if you're not really thin, they're terrible to you. Like they don't care about wrinkles. They care about how much your size. And so it's different. It's a different beauty standard.
Every culture is a little different.
Oh, my family thinks I'm a weirdo when I go home because I like literally I have this skin, and then they're like, "Oh, mais t'as pris 5 kilos." They're like, "Oh, they will literally guess how much weight I've gained or lost as I walk into the
Oh my
house.
gosh.
And it's
That's
just
so-
normal.
I didn't know that
It's
was
just
a big
normal.
part of French culture too, because like, you know, I'm Chinese and that is so typical of Asian culture. Like they literally just call you out. You look like you're 5 pounds thinner, or you're like, oh, you're too skinny, or you're too fat. I mean, literally, that's like your relatives
There's
would just
just-
tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
And
yep,
it's like,
totally.
everyone's like, oh my gosh, like that's terrible. And I'm like, honestly, like you as you get
Yeah, it's part
older,
of-
as a
yeah.
kid, it's terrible. But as you get older, you're just kind of like,
Yeah,
come
whatever.
on, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's so fascinating.
Yeah, I know. It's fascinating, and like it's kind of gives me hope, like the French example in that like it is sort of societal and cultural, and there is potentially a way to be able to ingrain a more like or a wider accepted view of certain beauty standards.
Yeah.
Just because like wrinkles are considered normal and a privilege
Yeah.
almost in
It's not a
France.
medical condition to have wrinkles. And like,
Yeah.
but then it's like, I look at my grandmother who never went in the sun and has very little wrinkles. And it's like, am I going to judge somebody who went in the sun a lot and then wants to
Right.
look like my
Mhm.
grandmother? Like, no, you
Yeah.
know, I'm like,
Yeah.
I find that to not be a super useful exercise. And so
Yeah.
that's kind of where I go. But I have to grapple with the fact that I'm starting to get wrinkles and I'm like, nope, that's society's conditioning.
Mhm.
Stop it. I'm like, this is a good
Yeah,
thing. You're getting
normal.
older.